Mic's on.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance followed by short invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving the opportunity to come before you tonight and transact township business. We ask that you lead us and guide us to make the right and appropriate decisions on behalf of our residents, and God bless America. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Beck.
Here.
Ms. Lee.
Here.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye. I move approval of minutes, regular meeting minutes for May 4th, 2021, and special meeting minutes for May 20th, 2021.
Second.
Any changes? Any comments?
Nope.
Okay. Roll call?
Ms. Lees.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
We will now hear the fiscal officer's report for May.
Our HRA account stands at $34,907.92. Our major working checkbook has an ending balance of $5,732,137.60. The meter fund stands at $8,099,904.53. You have sheets on all the fund balances, but the major ones are general fund, $2,601,903.39. Police fund, $727,069.34. Fire at $628,506.52. EMS at $527,792.08, and the Safety Services Fund at $2,412,817.99. In May, we received an email from Lisa Durger, who is the new Hamilton County Budget and Finance Director, informing us of money owed the township for road funds we are entitled to, but never received due to failure on the part of Carol Symmes, our previous fiscal officer, to file invoices with Hamilton County for completed road projects. These include $31,062 in 2016, which were the 20% funds we should have received, $30,012.39 in 2017, which was from the Cunningham Road resurfacing, and there was $11,130.44 from 2018 Lebanon Road resurfacing project. Ms. Symmes billed Hamilton County for $11,130 less than what we were entitled to, so they still owe us that, for a total of $72,204.83. We could find no record of these invoices in Carol Symmes' office after her departure. Perhaps they are part of the bags of many, many shredded documents that occurred in the last several months of her tenure. There was so much shredding going on in the last few months that our legal counsel sent letters to Ms. Symmes and her assistant to cease and desist with shredding, and as far as I know, it continued even after that. This new discovery can be added to the previously discovered dereliction of duty by Carol Symmes in not filing assessments for lighting district charges with Hamilton County Auditor for multiple lighting districts for the years 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, totaling the neighborhood of $167,184. Since these were not assessed, the township had to wait years for the money to be reimbursed because we still had to pay those bills. Of course, Carol Symmes had excuses for these assessments not being filed. Part of the record shows that she blamed the post office. If we're to believe her, the Postal Service lost the assessment reports mailed to the county auditor for the same districts every year for 4 years. 2, she didn't know assessments had to be filed before September 30th of each year. 3, county auditor's office never told her she would have to wait a whole year if the September 30th deadline was not met. And 4, she never had one of us residents call and say their tax bill is incorrect. One of her current complaints that continually brings up is $700 that she thinks the Loveland Chamber owes the township for the 2019 wine tasting event that was for the benefit of Dragonfly. So, she's overly concerned about $700 that she considers owed to the township, but absolutely no mention by her of the hundreds of thousands of dollars of errors caused by her actions, some of which the township, you, the taxpayers, will never recover. She seemed unconcerned about the $33,000 in late fees she caused to be incurred on the Duke Energy bills. Luckily, the state auditor issued a finding against her, requiring her to repay the township that $33,000. She seemed pretty unconcerned about the many instances of late payments and partial payments of bills. For example, when the township was notified that a $10,922 invoice from 3/13/18 was still unpaid on 12/28/18, Carol Symmes' email response was a reminder to staff that all calls from vendors regarding payment should go directly to her. No response as to why the bill went unpaid for 9 months. The emergency reporting records management system used by Loveland Symmes Fire Department refused access to the system, telling John Fry, Deputy Chief, that the refusal was due to non-payment of an invoice for $5,436.50, dated 7/12/18, and stamped payment due was received on 10/23/18. Carol Symmes' response to Deputy Chief Fry was that the company's lines were down, the service was still active, and has not been disconnected, contrary to what they told him. In the default on the bond payment of $109,285 due on 12/1/18, the bank sent an invoice in October of 2018. A 12/4/18 email suggests contact was made with the fiscal officer on the default. On 12/12/18, an email contact made by the bondholder. On 12/13/18, Administrator Lepensi was notified by phone by Brenda Weimer, Dinsmore and Scholl, who said the fiscal office was not returning their phone calls or answering their emails. On 12/14, Carol Symmes made the payment by wire transfer. Carol Symmes did a strange thing in September of 2020, a month and a half before she left office. She had billing statements from a few vendors sent only to her emails, no mailings to the township. Since we had no access to her email account, we had no way of knowing bills were going unpaid till the vendors notified us months later. I've sat here through multiple trustee meetings listening to Carol Symmes read off her encyclopedic litany of public document requests she claims she has been denied. The truth is that she has received answers to all of those requests except those she has no right to have. There are certain personnel matters that are prohibited from disclosure by the Ohio Revised Codes, and executive sessions involving approved topics are also privileged. So, for someone who never, and I repeat, never, supplied multiple documents requested over the last year she was in office, it is the height of hypocrisy for her to continue to demand answers she is not entitled to. Perhaps it is time for Carol Symmes to follow her own advice that she directed at me at a previous trustee meeting, and I quote her verbatim, "Shut up and sit down."
You finished?
I'm done.
Seeing no presentations tonight, I now open the public hearing on tax budget for fiscal year 2022.
Okay. In the general fund, we're projecting revenues in 2022 for $1,355,600 and expenditures of $1,572,698. In the motor vehicle license fund, we're projecting revenues of $17,900 with expenditures of $30,000. In the gas tax fund, $216,300 for revenues, $216,300 for expenditures. In the road and bridge fund, $194,650 for revenues, $200,350 for expenditures. In the cemetery fund, revenues of $81,000, expenditures of $81,000. In the cemetery bequest fund, revenues of $300, expenditures of $0. In the police fund, revenues of $928,500 with expenditures of $928,500. And fire, revenues of $958,750, expenditures for $958,750. On the EMS levy, we project revenues of $649,000 and expenditures of $649,000. In the safety services levy, we project revenues of $3,419,282. On the expenditure side, $3,088,075. In the road levy fund, revenues of $535,500, expenditures of $611,750. In the road levy 2 fund for personnel, $266,100 for revenues, expenditures $298,750. In the Parks Levy Fund, we expect revenues of $704,126. On the expenditure side, $713,930. In the ROSI Levy Fund, we project revenues of $556,500, and same for expenditures, $556,500. Under the permissive motor vehicle license tax, which is the township version, we project $96,750. Same for expenditures, $96,750. On the lighting fund, we project revenues of $151,000 with expenditures of $151,000. In the special improvement fund, we expect revenues of $92,341. And on the expenditure side, $91,842. On the Field Zertle TIF, we expect revenues of $757,800. On the expenditure side, $739,000. In the permissive motor vehicle license tax fund, the county's version or the county portion, we expect revenues of $29,500. For expenditures, $29,500. So total wise, we have total revenue of $11,010,899. And on the expenditure side, it's $11,013,695. So a total variance of $2,796, which brings our total carryover to $10,200,666.19. So these are all the numbers that we discussed in the finance and budget meeting that we had last month. So does anybody have any questions?
I just want to say thank you to the Finance Committee. They've done a great job. They've asked all the right questions. They've pushed us more than I think we've ever been pushed. So thank you again, and we're glad to have you aboard with us.
Any other comments or discussion?
No, I think we got a good tax budget.
Mhm.
Okay. I believe I am now supposed to close the tax hearing. So with that reading and with comments, I hereby close the tax budget public hearing for fiscal year 2022. I move approval of disbursements, warrants.
You need to open it to the floor
Ah,
to see if
thank
anybody
you.
has any comments or questions or
I
concerns.
was trying to figure out how to get that in.
Yep.
Okay. The township will now hear any comments related to tax budget fiscal year 2022 from the public. Seeing none, I then close the public hearing for tax budget fiscal year 2022. I move approval of disbursements, warrants number 79,431 through 79,588, and vouchers number 116 through 141 in the amount of $434,926.23.
Second.
Any discussion? Excuse me. Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Okay. The board will now hear any reports, first starting with the law director.
Thank you. I did just have one topic I wanted to address briefly tonight, based on a question that came up. It has to do with something called a Community Improvement Corporation, or a CIC. Community Improvement Corporations are nonprofit corporations that are created by the Ohio Revised Code, and the purpose of a CIC is the advancing, encouraging, and promoting the industrial, economic, commercial, and civic development of a community or an area. So they are essentially like an economic development tool. Like I said, they're created by statute, and they are basically a political subdivision that takes a local government like a township or a city or a village to create a CIC. And many communities in Hamilton County have created their own CIC. What I was asked to talk about is that we have the benefit in Hamilton County of an existing CIC called the Community Improvement Corporation of Greater Cincinnati. It's a CIC that already exists, and a number of communities in Hamilton County have, rather than create their own CIC, they have joined the CIC of Greater Cincinnati. I know Columbia Township, Anderson Township, Blue Ash, Madera, and I'm sure I'm missing some of the others. But those are communities that, instead of creating their own CIC, chose to join the existing CIC of Greater Cincinnati. The benefit of doing that, if you will, is that you get all the benefits of having a CIC without the administrative sort of headache of creating a CIC and administering a CIC. The CIC of Greater Cincinnati is actually administered by the Hamilton County Development Corporation. So they are the experts in that field, and they administer that so that local governments don't have to administer their own. So then the next question is, if you're interested, how does anyone join that? Essentially, my suggestion is reach out to the Greater Cincinnati CIC, tell them you're interested potentially in joining, and they will kind of take it from there. But in essence, what happens is the township, or any township that would want to join, would adopt a resolution designating the CIC of Greater Cincinnati as their economic agency. So it's basically like creating it's almost like a little department for the township, or any township that wanted to join. You do that, you send it to the CIC of Greater Cincinnati, and then their board would meet, and they would have to pass their own resolution authorizing, basically accepting the membership of that other community. I can tell you within the last number of months, the city of Madera was the latest to join, and that's the exact process they went through. So that's how it works. And then once you are accepted and become a member, then the township, just like every other community that's a member, would have a seat on the board. So you would appoint somebody from the township to fill that seat. Typically, it's administrators, city managers, economic development directors.
Can I ask just a few questions? I don't know if you'll know this. But, okay, let's just say we join and they find a company or a business or something that wants to come into the township, but we don't necessarily think they fit with the mode of the township. Do we have to accept them?
Oh, the CIC of Greater Cincinnati doesn't do anything without the...
Our approval.
Exactly. In fact, it's typically initiated by the township.
Okay.
And then you would go to the CIC and say, is this an opportunity where you could lend assistance?
Like we would say, okay, we have a certain area that we would like to see redeveloped or that's empty. And we can go to them and say, hey, we have this area and it's right here. Do you have anything for us?
Right. Think of I'm sorry to interrupt. Think of the CIC as just like another tool in your toolbox. They don't do anything on their own without you.
So we would make the initiation?
Yeah.
And does it cost to join?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe there are any costs associated with it or fees.
And so if a company's like out of state, they would probably contact them and say, hey, we're looking, and then, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the benefit of the CIC of Greater Cincinnati being administered by HCDC. They have all of the sort of economic development experts there that are aware of all the various incentives and tools that could be used.
Okay. I like that.
That's
idea.
helpful.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And that would conclude my report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Just a couple items to note that the Township Safety Camp will be held on June 14th through the 17th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Home of the Brave Park. We partnered with Strive on that endeavor. And we also received a $2,500 grant from Duke Energy to help cover the cost of that. So that was a big deal to be able to get cost covered by Duke. So we appreciate that for Duke Energy. And also we were notified from the Ohio Township Association that Symmes Township will be featured on their on their website. So as they're redoing the website, we should be seeing something on that very soon.
Great.
And the last thing is that on Thursday night here at 7 p.m., we're going to be recognizing a 6-year-old young man who saved his sister's life while on vacation, who had drowned in a hot tub. And he notified the parents, and they were able to get the child out in time, and the child was flown to Children's Hospital. And this was a township resident here in Symmes Township, so if anybody would like to stop by at 7 p.m., be a quick little ceremony as we recognize this young man for saving his sister's life. We always like to remind everybody this time of year that swimming pools are open, and life jackets for everybody, and always keep your children within an arm's length. So that's all I have to report, trustees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. No Director of Public Works. Kim, you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that they continue to work on the Union Cemetery sidewalk project. They've started down at the other end. I thought they were going to start down by the retaining wall, but actually we have a change order that we need to do for the retaining wall, so that's why they started down by the Mead Trail side of it. And then our paving program will begin probably the second week in July.
Road paving.
Yes.
Okay. Who's going to report on the Finance Committee meeting? It was listed.
I don't have anything.
Okay. The minutes are,
Available.
Yeah.
available on the website?
Yeah, well, they will be tomorrow.
Okay. We approved them tonight. The special meeting for May 20th. That was the,
No, this one was for May
Okay,
12th. We
that's
don't
right.
approve it, it's just in there as
Right.
information. But
Okay.
basically, we talked about the budget, and then we also discussed the cost allocation for this building, the utilities, and then what else did we talk about? We talked about 3 things.
we talked about job description change.
No, it was in the finance
That's
committee.
finance committee.
Okay, that was a work
Oh, the
session.
the service garage.
Yeah.
We talked about the service garage, this building, and then the budget.
Okay. All right, so if anyone's interested in the Finance Committee meeting, they'll be on the website tomorrow. Is there any other? Seeing none?
Nope.
Okay. We'll now open the floor for hearing from residents. I just ask that if it's a subject that's already been talked about multiple times, that we're not going to really hear any more of it. For something new, we're always interested in hearing what the residents have to say, and bring things to our attention. Here's your opportunity. Just come forward, identify yourself and your residence.
Well, thank you. William Hauk, 11817 Enyart Road, directly across from Symmes Elementary School. Obviously, I have a problem in the morning at 9 o'clock trying to get out of my driveway, and either that or I'm also an Ohio high school football and baseball official, and getting out of my driveway at 4 o'clock in the afternoon is also difficult, but I've been able to converse with most of the traffic officers that are working duty there, and they've been pretty lenient when I walk out in my uniform and say, hey, I need to get out of my driveway. But anyway, in regards to Enyart Road, it seems to be from Enyart to the first big white house is the biggest drag strip I've ever seen. The rate of speed, and it's only a few vehicles, but it's in excess of 60 miles an hour. And it is a playground when on Saturdays and Sundays, kids are playing soccer and things like that. Fortunately, the goals are pretty far back from the road and the ball doesn't go into the street, but it could. And a speeding car could not see it. Either what I'd like to see is either a playground hours speed limit to reduce that, or a strict speeding policy for Enyart Road to stop this. And then that way it'll get out over social media and ways and things like that, that there's traffic supervision there. But I appreciate it.
That is a school zone, right?
It's a school zone during school hours.
Okay.
Well, not during the school hours, during 9 to 9:30 and 4 to 4:30, something like that. Now, what Mason did is backlight the speed line, the school speed signs, so I can tell when the 20 mile an hour is in force. They just put a single LED bulb on the backside of the sign, and when I pull out of my driveway, fortunately, if there's a lot of traffic, I know it's a school zone, and to do 20 miles an hour, I want to exit my driveway. But what happens is that when somebody, I think it comes out of Symmes Valley, comes into Enyart,
Okay.
they're past the sign, so they don't know if it's a school zone or not, school time zone. But I think, I haven't looked at that.
That drive comes out of Symmes Valley or whatever it is, directly opposite the drive
Library.
into the library.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, it's just, I'd like to see something happen, something proactive happen before something drastic happens. Okay? Thank you.
Appreciate you
you,
bringing
sir.
it to our attention.
Hi, my name is Carol Symmes, and I'm here on behalf of the Symmes Historical Society. We have a letter that we drafted to the board that I would like to read. It says, "Dear Board, as advised in our previous letter to you, Dave Zeberink is not the representative for the Symmes Historical Society on your recently formed RFQ committee. We also indicated that we agree with you that there should be 2 members appointed from the society to review any future plans for the Mead House. Unfortunately, it was reported at a recent society meeting that there has been no response from the board to our letter regarding these appointments. Please be advised that the members of the society at its May 20th, 21 meeting approved the appointments of Rick Arp and C.J. Card to serve on your RFQ committee. We look forward to being part of the process for this historic building and to receiving information regarding the purpose and timeline for this committee. As a reminder, we also requested a copy of the RFQ proposal, which we had hoped to have available at our meeting for review and discussion. However, to date, this has not been provided, and we are again making a public records request for this information." I present this letter to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I have a couple questions for the board.
Excuse me,
Uh-huh.
what's the topic?
It's regarding this.
Okay.
So in order for me to report back to the society at our June meeting, when can we expect to receive a response to this letter as well as to our first letter?
Can I ask a question? Why don't you want Dave Zebrink to be the representative? He's on the Historical Society, and I feel like
Previous owner.
I have to defend him, because I am at the Mead Historical Preserve a lot, and that man walks there every day. That was his home for how long? Many, many
Decades.
years, and he is very invested in that piece of property. And I'm taken back. I'm kind of hurt for him, because I think it's very, I want to say, mean and vindictive that he's on your society, and he's probably the one person that cares about that property on that historical site, and you are snubbing him. I'm appalled. I'm appalled, Carol.
Well, you could be appalled. We were a little bit upset by the fact that you formed this committee.
We have a right to appoint anybody we
that's
want
true.
on our committee.
Can I finish?
You don't have the right to say who you want on the committee. We, as a board, have the right to appoint who we want on the committee, who we feel is the most deserving.
Okay.
It's our committee. It is not the Historical Society's committee.
Okay, in
And
answer
it's
to your
disgusting.
question, Mrs. Lees, regarding why Dave Zeberink is not going to represent the society,
Well, he is going
Is
to
the
represent
fact-
the society because we have appointed him
the
representing the
fact
society.
is that you elected who to appoint from our society to serve on this committee. You did not come to our committee, our society, and said, "We're forming this committee, we'd like to appoint somebody, we think Dave Zeberink's going to be the best person for it." We heard nothing from you until we attended a meeting when it was discussed that he was being appointed to this committee. Dave has made no attempt to notify the officers or even the members of our society about his appointment, and he has failed to come to any of the meetings to report on anything regarding this RFQ proposal. And that's why we've elected not for him to represent us.
It's a shame.
You elected,
It's a
you
shame.
stated that you
Your
wanted
committee's a
2
shame.
members
It's disgusting.
of the society to be on this committee, and we're saying this is the 2 that we decided to appoint. Now, yes, you have the right to appoint anybody to your committee, so make Dave Zeberink an at-large member, but he does not represent the society. So anything that he makes in comment at these meetings and says that he represents our committee, he is not representing us. So back to my question,
Appalling.
when will we receive a response to this letter and our previous letter? I feel that the board owes the society some kind of response.
When's your next meeting?
Our next meeting is June, the 4th Thursday in June.
The fourth Thursday in June?
Correct.
We'll have an answer for you before that.
Okay. When will our two representatives receive information regarding the committee and meeting dates?
They're not on the board. They've not been appointed. They're not going to receive any information. We have to discuss it. We've appointed Dave Zebrink. If you don't want him, maybe you're not going to have a seat on our committee.
Fine, if that's what the board wants, and you want no input from
That's
Historical
fine.
Society, that's fine. When will
Dave
we
Zebrink is on your
receive?
Historical Society, and he is going to represent the Historical Society on our committee. End of story.
End of story, he will not represent us.
Okay.
When will we receive a copy of the RFQ, which was requested in our first letter and is now being requested as a second request?
I think Ken already answered that. He said
Sometime
he's going to
before
get you a
next
letter
meeting.
before your meeting.
Third what?
The fourth Thursday.
Fourth Thursday.
So we have to wait till then to get an
He
RFQ
said
that's already
before.
been processed
He
and
said
I
before.
said before
made
that.
available.
That's what he
Okay.
said.
Okay, because it does exist, because Mr. Beck, you stated that 2 meetings ago that Dave had reviewed the RFQ. So back in April, that RFQ existed. So when we requested that in our first letter, why was it not provided to us?
I think we're getting
Again,
to
it's
it.
another public records request,
We're
it's
getting
not
to it.
fulfilled. That's fine. Thank you.
Carol, here's the problem with the Historical Society. They don't take care of the log cabin. The log cabin hasn't been taken care of in so long. That's the problem. Your roof is falling apart. It's in shambles. People see it and they're like, what is going on with the log cabin? Okay? You guys, well before, I'm the one who brought it to your attention. You would not be doing anything with the roof, with the siding. The growth would have been past the windows if I hadn't complained.
That's your opinion.
Yes,
We
it-
were already working, we were already aware of the roof, we were already aware of other things, okay? So for you to sit up there and state that that cabin is in disrepair is a bold-faced lie.
It's in
And we are
disrepair.
tired of you saying this at every meeting about complaining about the cabin.
I don't say it at every meet. I'm not going to fight. But here's the thing. I met with you and CJ. You never would have come to the township and tried to meet with us over the log cabin and the issues that the log cabin are having. Okay? I'm the one who extended my hand to CJ and asked for a meeting so we can help you get the log cabin where it needs to be, because it is not. I don't care what you say. You can say that you've been trying to work on it. All you had to do is get a weed whacker out and cut the bushes. Did you do that until I came to you?
What bushes? You mean the bushes in front of the house? This is a log cabin that was built in 1830. It would not have had manicured lawn and bushes
No,
at that
But you
time.
would have to be able to walk back there. It's this
We-
high.
we-
You guys didn't even take care of it last year.
Last year, there was COVID.
Carol, it's outside. You still can make an appointment to take a lawn or something and cut it. You guys are just not taking care of the log cabin. I extended my hand back in August of last year to meet with CJ to see if we could get the cabin back in order. He did not even reply to me.
No.
He did not
Because-
even
because-
reply to me until I told him on camera that I sent him this email, and I would like to get the Historical Society at the Township Building to get it together.
Because we received conflicting information. We were told that Mr. Beck was going to be contacting us. So we were waiting for one person to make contact with us. Unfortunately, Mrs. Lees, we were already aware of the problems that you talked about at that meeting that we had, and we were working on those problems. And you can stand up there and make comments as much as you want, but if you're not providing the right, correct information to the residents, you're doing a very
The
much
correct
disservice.
information is that we have a roof that needs attention, and it still is not fixed.
Okay. Carol, I am advised that the RFQ is available on our website. So you can go out and find it, and you'll have it as soon as you look it up.
It would have been nice if that response could have been made to us, so we would know.
I just found out, and I just commented to you, okay?
Well, it's a shame that the board didn't know it was, the RFQ was on the website.
Any other residents?
CJ Carr, 10403 Willow Drive. Where to start? I received a letter March 15th. I assume everyone's aware of that, about issues on some properties that I own. That trailers, dumpster, pop machine, and a
A roof
roof.
falling in, a house with a roof falling in?
Yes, I've gotten that far.
Okay.
If you want, I can hand you this if you'd like to read it.
No, go ahead.
I went to the township building on March 18th and met with Luann. Went over all the issues, told her I did not have an issue with the items going down it. I did have an issue with removal of the dumpster that had been there for 15 or 20 years. I explained to her that we had planned on taking down the house that the roof was falling in on, and the other house across the street would come down later on in the summer.
Can I ask a quick question? Why has the dumpster been there for 12 to 15 years?
Because we've used it for garbage pickup. It was okayed by Bill Pittman. It was okayed by Brian Eliff.
Okay, can I make a statement on that? We have a letter from 2013 from Brian Eliff to you stating the dumpster cannot be there. Kim has a copy of it. She can deliver it to you.
That's correct.
2013.
That's correct. Brian sent me a letter
And so why are you saying he gave you permission?
because I spoke with Brian in reply to the letter, and it was taken care of, and it was not an issue. If it was an issue in 2013, why wasn't it an issue in 14,
Did you get that in
15?
writing?
I don't know if I have that in writing or not.
Okay.
The dumpster will be removed. Now, can I finish what I'm
Sure,
trying to
I just
say
had
here, and then
wanted to
you can
have
ask
clarify
questions?
that.
I have been to many meetings, call the office, speak with Luann, speak with whoever, work all this out. They're more than willing to work with you. That's what you hear at these meetings when you come. We heard last month's meeting. Call in tomorrow, speak with the office. I'm sure they'll give you more time to extend this. So again, March 15th, I get a letter. I went in, spoke to Luann, told her exactly what was going on. March 25th, I get a letter from Emily at Hamilton County Zoning saying that they can't locate permits for a garage that I built, zoning or building permits. And there's also a sign that needs to be removed in a right-of-way of Rich Road. The day right before I received it, I got an email from her saying that please disregard the letter because all of a sudden the site showed up on the CAGIS maps, on Hamilton County CAGIS, and she was able to locate all the permits. So I disregarded the letter. After I looked at the letter, though, the reason for it is they were looking at the wrong address. So I don't know who's forwarding addresses to Emily down at the zoning department, but that's incorrect. Second, another sign without a zoning certificate. I've dealt with Emily on both of these issues. Never was a sign in the right of way, as noted on the agendas here. Now, back to the March 15th. Back in February, I had requested documentation on the Shore Drive Park and information. I received an email back with 102 pages of purchase contracts and closing statements on all the parcels that the township had bought in Loveland Park subdivision. Nothing on the park property itself. In those in those 102 pages, there is documentation of people's names, addresses, telephone numbers, social security numbers, tax ID numbers, and everything else that came out in that email to me. I know all 3 trustees were copied on that, and you have that information in your emails also. When I asked, okay, where's the information on the park? We don't have it. That's all we've got in the file. Doesn't exist. The Willow vacation issue started in February. I sent in a 34-page objection letter to it, which is now being worked out through all the attorneys and county and so on and so forth. All this starts in March 15th, right after the February 26th date of the county engineer needing all this stuff. So I've been in correspondence back and forth with the township administrator and Luann and some of the trustees. And on May 11th then I get a letter. Well, let me back up one. On April 14th I get a letter when I asked if I had this property that's going to be up for nuisance resolution tonight, 12034 Cedar Drive, if I had cleaned that to the likings of the township. I got a letter back on April 14th that said, we appreciate all you've done. 2 items remain. One being a trailer that's located in the side yard has to be removed, and the dumpster issue. Well, I responded back after that. The trailer had already been removed to the rear yard of the property, which started another issue of, well, the property is clearly vacant, so you can't put a trailer in the rear yard. But after I questioned the zoning portion of our zoning code, oh, that's okay until the building's torn down, is how it was left. Well, today it's okay. It doesn't matter. The building's there. On April 14th, it was okay. Should have been no more about it. But no, I got a threat that if it's not removed within 10 days, we will turn this matter over to our attorney for further action. So, again, the trailer issue was done. I moved the dumpster over. On May 11th then, I get a letter that states, the house at 12034 Cedar Drive needs to be torn down and hauled away. The trailer on the property needs to be removed. Okay, or 12034 Cedar Drive. This is May 11th. This is the first time that there's been a deadline put to May 31st, 12034 Cedar Drive has to be torn down by this date, or the trustees are voting on a nuisance resolution. All the times prior, and then even as current as April 14th, only 2 issues remain on 12034. All of a sudden, out of the blue on the 11th, you have 20 days to get this down and removed. Everything in all the documentation, I know you've seen a lot of it, said we would start tearing stuff down at 12027 on May 1st, which is what we did. It's cleaned up. I sent an email into the township administrator and Luann on Monday, the 24th, basically stating everything had been done as I said it would be done. Everything was completed, cleaned up. Please let me know that it's acceptable so that I can put seed and straw down. No response. I have heard nothing in response to, yes, everything's okay. I look at the agenda on Friday, and 12034 is up for a nuisance resolution. On all these complaints, there's a nuisance resolution kept, and I asked about sign complaints and this zoning issue with the shed, and was informed that the township doesn't keep any log of those complaints. These other complaints are all unknown. And it goes even as far as a property that I purchased at on Oak and Mulberry that has been a issue of the township for, at least the information I've gotten back today at 4:30 from Luann, 2013, that the township has been continuously on since 2013 to clean up. I received a phone call at the end of March from Luann with a nuisance complaint against that property, that I was in the process of waiting for them to come pick up the final dumpster to clean up that property when Luann calls. And of course, it's an anonymous complaint. All these letters say that a resident is complaining. Well, we don't know who this person is according to the unknown complaints. There has been no orders written by the health department that I know of. There have been no orders written by the building department that I know of, or the fire department to tear the structure down at today's point. I have spoken with Luann. I have spoken with a representative of the fire department, and it was the understanding they would be down, the other building, 12034, would be down later this summer. And that's where that was at. I have been harassed over this with all these letters. Every time I turn around, I'm getting another letter in the mail for another violation. I know in numerous property maintenance meetings, general maintenance code meetings, and so on and so forth, and just regular zoning, that this is called in by residents, whatever, and if you can see it from the street, then it can be written up. I don't understand what gave Mr. Beck the right or authority to trespass on my property, which I told him to get off my property. A representative of the township out on my property with these nuisance complaints going on. I will have that house down, as I said, at the end of the summer, if that's an issue. I will have the house down this month, if you want to know better. When Luann questioned me about the other house that I was cleaning up, and it's in the notes, and I put it in the email I sent to you when I was, what am I going to do with it? I said, I do not know. And I want to make that clear here now. I do not know what I'm going to do with that property.
What address is that?
The 12096 Oak. It had a nuisance complaint called in on it. I was cleaning it up. All the stuff has been removed, and the house is secure, the grass is cut, and it's sitting on its own right now.
CJ, we get anonymous complaints all the time because people turn in their neighbors because they don't want to be the face to their neighbor because they have to live with that person. So if they put their name on a nuisance complaint, do you know what conflicts it's going to cause? So it's just adding fuel to the fire instead of we act as a mediator. And I think what's happening with your properties, I think one person notified us about a property, and then soon as other people heard that we're acting on the one property, I think they all are tired of the properties not being taken care of. And so that's why it's kind of like a domino effect. One person turns you in, and then all of a sudden it's like, gee, I've been living next to a house, or not with a roof falling in, or a pop machine sitting outside, or a trash in front. Do you know what could happen to a child if they went in and played in one of those houses of yours? Even if they're trespassing, someone could have died or gotten seriously hurt because those properties are not being maintained. And they're kind of down in the dip. So not a lot of people, if a child was screaming for help, could hear them. So I think that's what happened in your area. One person turned you in, and then I think you have a few people mad at you back there because of the things that you're doing, and so the floodgates open up, and here it all comes. Okay, and that house, we have a nuisance back from 2013 that you were dealing with Brian on one of those houses.
On the
So this-
dumpster.
So this, no, a house too. So this, we have a letter.
This is both houses.
Both houses from 2013 that we've been trying to take care of. And you've allowed them to just collapse. I mean, that's 2013. We're in 2021 now.
That's correct.
And
It
I
collapsed last
honestly
year.
think some of your neighbors are fed up with you not taking care of property back there. And so all of a sudden, it was like bam, 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 complaint after complaint after complaint.
Okay.
So is that good for the township to maintain your property or not maintain your properties like you do, CJ? Is that good for the
I
township?
do maintain the properties. The Oak Street I just purchased in December.
just
No,
curious.
you don't
And I
maintain the
cleaned that
properties.
up.
You have a
I'm just
house
curious.
with the roof falling in
I'll tell you what.
and so much
You're
junk on it.
nitpicking this
You
and
have
that.
cut me off
The
this
bottom
whole
line
time
is-
I've tried to talk
The
this
bottom
evening.
line is, you're not maintaining these particular parcels, and you're doing it, now that the spotlight's on it, it's like, oh, okay, I gotta do something.
You brought it to my attention.
Okay.
I have
It was
taken
brought to your
every,
attention 8 years ago.
I have
Seriously.
taken every
Seriously.
necessary.
Come on.
Okay, I do not recall 2013, it was a dumpster issue.
Really?
That's-
No, it was a house.
Okay, then it was a house.
Okay, there's a
Okay.
house.
Okay.
Okay, that's,
So what are we talking about here? You're at the podium, what do you want to talk about?
So
you're
we
just-
notified you.
What are you doing?
okay, you notified me,
So
and
you're
now
gonna
you've
take the
given
house
me
down
20
before
days.
June? Is that, or before
20
the end of
days
June?
to get this house done, down, which I have in all these meetings, as long as somebody is continuously working at it. I have continuously worked at this since March on all these properties, before this even started.
When does the house
We were
come
back
down,
there
CJ?
clearing up.
Before the end of June, is that what you
I'll
said?
have, if you want it down this month, I'll have it down this month.
That'd be great.
And is it going to be cleared? Because we know you took that one house down and the cinder's still sitting there.
Cinder's still sitting there?
Kim?
The one on Cinnamon on the corner.
Oh, yeah, that's being used for fill over there. That's not my property.
Okay.
Yes,
You're
that's
gonna
somebody
use it for
else's that
filler.
went on
What-
for
what
a
it-
year,
What's filler?
10 months.
What's filler? What are you going to use cinder for? To fill what?
It's concrete. It's broke up concrete.
To fill what?
It'll be used for solid fill. Now, I'm not here to talk about that property. I'm here to talk about my property. So all this coming down and all this arguing and everything else, I have a nuisance complaint on here. I tried to come speak to you this evening to explain what's going on. Okay, once again, all these come in March. Okay, you can try all you want to. You can write me up for whatever you want to. Documentation, I don't know what I'm surprised they can find that. And they can't find any other documentation I've been requesting here from the township. But, all this going on now sure seems fishy. All of a sudden in March, after all this other issue starting, that all this comes down. And once this house is cleaned up and taken down, there will be nothing left over there. I will continue to find out the information and pass it on to the neighbors. Seems like nobody knows who's doing what here at the township. Things are being done by the administrator, things are being done over here, they don't know about this.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
about?
let's just get down to the specifics. The house comes down before the end of June.
Specifics, I'll have it down this
Okay,
month.
that'd be great.
If that's what you guys want, I will have it down
Okay,
this
are we
month.
done?
I'm done.
Great. Thanks.
Anyone
Next.
else?
Anyone else? Okay. Anyone wish to discuss any correspondence? Seeing none. Okay, the following events and meetings are scheduled for this month. Touch a Truck Community Event, Saturday, June 5th, 2021, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Sycamore Presbyterian Church. Hazardous Household Waste Drop-Off, Saturday, June 12th, 2021, from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. at Home of the Brave Park. And I believe I read in the administrative notes that no tires will be taken at that hazardous drop-off?
Right.
Okay.
The grant money's no longer available.
Okay. Zoning Commission meeting will be Wednesday, June 16th, 2021 at 7 PM, and they're still doing Zoom. Storybook time with the library will be at Stonebridge Park this month on Monday, June 28th from 10 to 12. 4th of July holiday, our buildings will be closed on Monday, July 5th for the holiday. Regular trustees meeting will be Tuesday, July 6th at 7 PM at the Safety Service Center. And the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting will be Monday, July 12th, 2021 at 7 PM at the Safety Service Center.
Can I add one thing? Yoga in the Park. Yoga in the Park starts on Wednesday at 6:30 and then on Saturday at 9.
At Hopewell Park.
Hopewell Park. Love to see everybody there. It's lots of
Okay.
fun.
Seeing no old business, we'll move to new business. I move to accept the resignation of Marcus Rose from the Symmes Township Service Department.
Second, we wish Marcus tons of luck in his new adventure. I think he's working for his in-laws, so good for him.
Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Okay. I move to not request a hearing for the liquor license renewal for Taste of Belgium, 12071 Mason Montgomery Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45249.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye. I move to appoint an authorized representative to be Symmes Township's co-permittee for stormwater reports.
Second?
Okay, Kim, will you tee that one up, please?
Hamilton County is doing a different thing with their stormwater district. They're now going to allow the townships to enter their own data. So they have to have the board pass a motion designating a person that they wish to be the person to enter the data.
Is that a good thing?
I'm
Or
not
just
sure.
more work for us?
I'm not sure.
It's more work for us, but then we're also, they're getting money from all our residents to do all that work, so.
Oh, what work?
So are they gonna forward the money to us?
Oh, what work?
Just doubt it.
So who is the designee?
You guys can appoint anybody you want. It's either gonna be me or Bill, so. Or unless one of you wanna do it.
We need somebody with some stature, I would think,
And knowledge, yeah.
and knowledge.
Mhm.
Is Bill that person?
That would be fine.
Okay. Then,
Poor Bill.
we have a motion on the table and seconded. I'd like to amend that motion to say, I move to appoint Bill Pittman as an authorized representative to be Symmes Township's co-permittee for stormwater reports.
Second.
Okay. So we have to have a roll call to amend. Okay, then I have a roll call to amend.
Yep.
Okay.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Now we have a roll call to approve
Mhm.
the motion as stated.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Sorry.
Oh, Mr.
I jumped ahead.
I move approval of Resolution G 2021-45, a resolution authorizing the release of funds deposited with Symmes Township in accordance with ORC Section 3929.86 and Township Resolution G 0719, and dispensing with the second reading.
Second.
Okay, discussion. I believe this is to release the funds that we have in escrow for the Daniel Street fire in
Yes.
Camp Dennison.
Yes.
Okay, that's just a point of elaboration. Okay, so, any other discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2021-46, a resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 12034 Cedar Drive and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, CJ, we know that you asked for the end of the month. We will defer action, but you get the letter, okay?
You just passed a resolution that Kim stated last month in the meeting, I have 7 days now before they move on with it.
Say that again.
You just voted on a resolution
Yes.
that passed for a nuisance resolution.
Yes.
Last month in the meeting, when you asked for,
Yep.
to give 2 weeks to a resident, Kim noted that she gives people 7 days and then proceeds with it.
Okay.
You have voted and passed. So basically, you have given me 7 days with that motion to get this cleaned up.
Okay.
Not till the end of the month like you're stating.
Okay.
And again, this is,
Jeff?
they will do whatever over
Is that
there.
correct?
Well, it's correct that the nuisance resolution does say after the
7 days.
designation that then after 7 days, the
Okay,
township
but
can
we don't
take
have to
action.
enforce it, do we?
I think it's funny that everyone's sitting back there laughing. When you have a house that's falling apart, but that'd be very dangerous to somebody who happened upon it. I just don't find it a very
Do you know which
funny
house we're
subject.
talking about?
Yes,
The
I
house
do.
is secure and nobody can get in
There's
it.
one that's falling apart with the roof, and then the one across the street.
The one's
The one's
gone.
I know one's gone, but there's the house that here, and then there's a house here. I walk back there. Yes, I do. But here's my thing. Even if you, there was so much junk down there. It's just not safe. And I don't find it as funny because I feel like a child could get hurt. I'm concerned about people getting hurt in those places because kids find that stuff fascinating.
Okay, that's not part of
now
the,
you're laughing.
that's not
See,
part of
and
the
I don't think
question that
that's
I
funny,
brought up
CJ.
here. I don't think
I don't
it's,
think someone who had their child die in a house like that would think it's funny either. I just think that it's not a funny subject. The subject, it should have been taken care of. That's the issue.
I don't think it's
It
funny.
shouldn't have gotten to this point.
Then you should have wrote it up years before. That's on you, not on me then.
Oh, because
Just-
you can't take care of
I'm
your
asking a question
property?
here, and we're trying to figure this out.
Okay.
I don't think that's
Hold on a
funny.
second. I'll take some action here with your patience, please. Okay. I move to rescind Resolution G21-2021-46, a resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance on the property located at 12034 Cedar Drive and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of this nuisance. Do I have a
Second.
And I have a roll call.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
That's to
Aye.
rescind.
Ms. Lees.
Okay. I'm going to direct the township administrator that at the end of June, she'll come forth in our next meeting with a resolution to supplant this one. Okay? How's that?
Fair enough. And it will be down before the end of the month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Yep.
I move approval of Resolution G 2021-47, a resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 9035 Symmes Knoll and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion? Any, Kim? We've seen the pictures and so on and so
Yep.
forth, so.
Mhm.
Okay. No discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2021-48, a resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 9295 and 9303 McKinney Road, and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval Resolution G 2021-49, a resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 11817 Enyart Road and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
I'd like to address the board.
Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All of the complaints from talking to Luann that can be visibly seen from the Enyart Road have been resolved, except for the firewood, the ash log that is about that big around and 8 feet long. And I contacted, a individual that has a specific kind of log splitter that will handle this kind of log, and this will be taken care of either Saturday or Sunday.
I'm surprised that a logger wouldn't want that.
Well, that's who I got it from, because he didn't.
Okay.
And he loaded it on his truck with a forklift, and I didn't realize that I was going to get the big log, but I got all the tree limbs out of it and cut those up.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you speaking out.
That'll
Kim?
be within the
is-
7 days.
This was not changed since today. We went out today and the same stuff is still on the property when we went out there this afternoon.
Which picture is that? May I see it?
Yes.
This is all the stuff that's in your driveway.
Oh, that's all been taken care of.
So you did that today between noon and 6 PM tonight?
Were you in a white pickup truck?
No.
Okay, because somebody was there within a white pickup truck parked at the school exit.
These pictures have remained unchanged when we went out there today at noon,
Well, let
noon-ish.
me put it this way.
to look.
I
We
worked-
we
I
can,
worked
we
until
can
6
go ahead and
o'clock.
declare the nuisance. If it's already cleaned up, then you've satisfied the 7 days. And if you haven't, it needs to be done.
Okay,
All right?
that's fair.
Okay. Moving on. Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call?
So,
Mr. Bryant,
What's
It'll
the-
be
hold on.
within the 7 days, right?
Well, he says if it's already done and
Well, there is a small firewood pile at the end of the driveway, and there's a small firewood pile in the landscaping by the front door.
you get 7 days from your notice.
Do those need to be removed? Because the easiest entrance to the house by firewood is through the front door.
Okay.
What did you ask?
He asked if you can keep the firewood there.
It would have, well, I mean, it would have to be split and put in piles and neatly stacked. It can't just be laying on the ground.
What is neatly stacked, is that a pile?
Well, typically, you know, you stack it in a row and you put it up either against your shed.
Okay, because
or you
the
have
splitter
like a
that I
little-
had would not split 16-inch logs, would only split like 8-inch logs, and it's very difficult to stack 8-inch logs. It's easy to pile 8-inch logs.
Just call me and we'll work something out with the log, but typically you have to stack them and they have to be neatly stacked.
Okay,
And if they're out of view, so like in your
Okay.
rear yard where other people. do
okay,
not
I'll
see
move
them.
into the backyard.
Well,